PlayStation, from the official PlayStation Twitter account, announces that Helldivers fans, we're listening to you. There's a lot of reasons why that could have taken place, but ultimately I think that it was refunds is why Sony suddenly started to care about fans. But they have announced that they have reversed course on the update that was going to force people to link their Steam accounts to their PlayStation Network accounts, alienating like 177 countries, and it created this mass outrage online. And most people felt like there was no way Sony was going to change this. I didn't think they were. We all kind of accepted that Helldivers was going to die.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. You know, over the course of 3 days, we saw one of the most popular, and it felt like there was so much energy behind Helldivers over the first couple months of its release. A lot of people getting together a couple days a week, streaming it, whatever it may be. Massively, overwhelmingly positive reviews. All that changed when they said, by the way, I know we sold you this game. I know we haven't really talked about this for the past couple months, but it's going to be necessary for you to link your PlayStation Network account, even in all the countries we sold it where PlayStation Network isn't fucking available. There was so much outrage, so many negative reviews on Steam, a lot of pushback from people. But really, to me, when I thought it was done was when this happened, when Sony doubled down and they said, hey, we hear all the backlash. Guess what we're going to do? We're going to delist it in over 150 countries where PlayStation Network isn't available. That's when I was like, all right, well, it's done at that point. No, they're not going to change anything. And then all of a sudden, you know, a day or two later, they come out with this big statement. And it really is a testament. If you get a couple 100,000 people together, all upset about something, you can actually affect change, even when it comes to something like Sony, which to me is wild. I never thought they would back off on this, but they have. At least they're saying they will. And I think they're going to be watched closely to make sure they don't try to pull anything else. But it seems right now that gamers have won. Gamers rose up and actually changed something.
That's right.
Good job, Chuds.
Yes.
Hell
So
yeah.
Savvy,
buddies.
Savvy, kind of give us the bullet points of the question you had for the CEO of Helldivers.
So I basically asked him based off of a previous tweet. He said that they knew that the PlayStation requirements, the PSN linking requirements, were known 6 months before launch, and that they had to create the system around it. So a lot of people were confused on that, and they thought that it meant, oh no, they've known since contract signing that they would have to have the PSN connection. And that turns out it was not the case. So when he answered me, he said, no, we found out 6 months prior that Sony wanted us to connect the PlayStation accounts as a requirement. And then they had issues because it takes more than 6 months to develop that system. And thanks to everything that they came back, and now they were at the discussion tables again with Sony saying, hey, maybe this wasn't such a good idea. But he basically clarified saying publishers will make requirements along the way that may not have initially been in the contract. And I think that that's an important piece of information for people to know, to kind of see how publishers work, because that might actually prevent people in the future from working with publishers. Yes. If they're making on-the-fly changes like that, especially something so big that requires so much development time.
Absolutely. And I think the important piece here is that the voices of the people do matter if enough people can actually mobilize and work together. And that's essentially what happened here. Helldivers has one of the best communities on the internet in terms of people that play the game, how passionate they are about it, how seriously they take it. And it really did show when this happened, because this was mainly a PC gamer issue, specifically in terms of what this decision was going to turn into. But it felt like everybody saw the problem for what it was when they saw that, hey, all of these people are losing access to this.
I mean, I definitely saw all the people who were just like, well, it's Sony, so you're not going to be able to make much of a difference. And I feel like that demoralizing attitude is not helpful, because even if you're just one person, if you add to a pile, that pile is going to get larger and larger. And as you can see, it did make a difference. Obviously, Steam was helpful with doing the refunds as they were. I don't know if it would have been as impactful if refunds weren't happening, but thankfully, everything just fell into place and there was able to be impact. And I feel like this is a good thing for people who are still looking at stuff like Stellar Blade, or for if you're looking at companies that are involved with Bridge and you're like, well, this seems large and all-encompassing, like, what can we even do about it? And it's like, well, you can look at what happened with Helldivers and how everybody came together and actually made an impact on a massive company.
Absolutely. Well said. said, and as Ryan said earlier, and I said it too, but it's like I really was sad about this more than anything because, hey, I have no problem making fuck Disney videos, fuck Marvel, Star Wars, all of that. It's really fun to roast them. Helldivers, it was sad to see that I thought this game was going to essentially just die because of all of this. Because I'm like, dude, this is the one game that's, and I've mentioned it, Titanfall 2, dead. Halo Infinite, dead. Call of Duty, dead. My point being is that all these shooting games that we become fans of, they end up just having something dumb happen. Battlefront, remember the Battlefront remastered? Everybody was excited about Battlefront remastered. Screwed it up. And so I see this and I'm like,
couldn't play the first couple days.
I know. Seeing this quick turnaround has just been absolutely amazing. And yes, it's Sony, the most tone deaf company. They said that this was in the name of safety. No one believed that. No one believed.
We're doing it for your own good.
Yeah, we're doing it for your own good.
Well, it's safe for them to boost their PSN accounts created in a given month. Like that's safe for PlayStation. We'll see. We got to keep an eye and make sure they follow through on everything. I think that although there's been a lot of rightful criticism against some of the community managers for Helldivers or Arrowhead or whatever, and some of the way they've acted in Discord, I think overall, the message that the CEO put out, the insistence that they say, hey, make your voices heard, let people know what your problems are. We're trying to talk to Sony. We don't have full control over a lot of this stuff, but we're going to try to do what we can. And it turns out that maybe they did. Maybe they did help out and the situation's rectified, which is a good thing.